of a splash, and hopefully they can start that here with the draft underway.
We'll pull up the draft real quick for you. I'm anticipating the Nico ban coming through. See if we can't lose a couple of ADCs along the way with us too. No Nico ban yet, actually. This could be the first game it slides through. Yay, so bear with me, as this is the biggest thing in my mind. There it goes, Nico out of the way. No AD carries taken out yet, so Netsuno and Bevoy will have the run of the mill. Oh, the Aphelios spanned away, actually. Excuse me. It's so small on my screen. So no Aphelios this game. Netsuno and Bevoy both been using that champion to great success. The Zeri has to be next on the chopping block, Yeso.
Yeah, I was very curious because paiN was willing to ban away multiple AD carries from Root against Loud last week, and then they were happy to B1 the Aphelios. They choose not to do that. They just hit the Aphelios here, so maybe they're looking at the Zeri, which is available, or the Xayah, or they can go elsewhere. A lot of options here, but very interesting to only see one of those AD carries banned away. Also, a lot of good jungle picks available. Wukong, I know you're a big fan of it, Axeman. It is available for both of these teams, but it is the Zeri first pick for paiN.
It's got to be Viego for Trick. I love me some Trick Viego. Netsuno wants the Lucian, but what's he going to get for the jungle? They maybe just lock in Lucian Nami right here. R1, R2, yay, so I think that's pretty spicy for them.
Yeah, Lucian available. Also, the entire gamut of supports are up. Important to know. We've seen quite a few bans thrown at things like the Yuumi, the Lulu, the Milio. None of those showing up in the first phase, but they're going to take the Annie instead, that continues to be highly, highly prized by so many teams.
Oh yeah, that Annie locked in. On the flip side, the blue side, Yuumi backed up with what you have to imagine is Wukong. For Karaoke, no, the Swain actually maybe picked up. This is banned into paiN Gaming previously last weekend. Oh, just some hovers coming through. Dinkato finally picking up the Ahri. They rest on that champion. The Nami on the flip side. We're going to get into some jungle bans. Viego on the chopping block. Wukong on that chopping block along with it. We won't be seeing those big ticket junglers come through this particular game, Yeso. It's going to be a shootout down bot lane. Everybody's favorite thing.
Certainly interesting to see Los going back to the Lucian Nami that we've seen, honestly, a ton over the last year. The Nami hasn't been as popular as of late, with the prominence of, as previously mentioned, the Lulu, the Yuumi, the Milio, but classic bot lane pairing here, and we are going to see Ranger on something different, and this is going to be a really good test for him in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Jack's taken off the table, Axeman.
Some of those questions we finally get answered. Even more questions here. Bull's going to ban the Jax away from himself. That's incredible. Not going to take that one for him there. The Aphelios, of course, as well, taken away from Las Grandes there too. They will not have access to either of those champions. Only the Annie locked in. That's really been a mainstay for them so far. Love to see that Wukong come through for Karaoke if they can get it. Karaoke, of course, being one of the only players in the CBLOL to lose a game on Wukong so far this split. So maybe that Wukong better left on the table. Yeah, they're going to ban it away. And this got to be Viego ban, right? Am I crazy here?
Viego, or it could be the Maokai. It's important to note that Maokai is one of those high presence junglers, one of two that were 100% presence through the first week alongside Vi, but you called it, X-Man. It's the Viego. They don't want to give that to Trick that he was so good on in Los's first game.
Sejuani will be the pickup for Trick. He played this last week alongside that Viego back-to-back days. Now he gets the Sejuani back in here. It's a good pickup for him. Not a lot of damage, of course, coming out of Sejuani. We do expect some carry performances from Trick from time to time. Of course, legendary G2 jungler winning the EULCS way back in the day. Was it the LEC or the EULCS? Yeah, one of those two. Maokai, you mentioned earlier. He might have won both. That's entirely possible. You mentioned the Maokai. The Maokai will get locked in. And the Gnar here, too, for Weiser. Big playmaking top laner. Exactly what you want to see in Weiser's hands. It'll be the counter pick for Bowl. What is he looking for here? I'm thinking Malphite. Let's do it. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, I don't hate the Malphite here. You have, I mean, tons of engaged potential already. You've got the disengage coming from the tidal wave on that Nami, but you've already got plenty with the Glacial Prison and the Tibbers here. It's the Aurelia! It's one of the classic counter picks into the Gnar. Talk to me about that R5 pickup from Los Grandes, Zach.
Love this Aurelia. Bull, he loves his Jax, and now we get to see the Aurelia come through here as well. It's got carry potential, right? But also, you can just sit up top and absorb waves as well. It gets nice and strong for the late game. A late game option, a damage option for Los Grandes too. And I'm liking this comp from Los Grandes. I believe I have them predicted. But unfortunately for Los Grandes, I haven't gotten a single prediction right yet today, so that's not the best position for them to be in.
It is an unfortunate place to be in here.
Yeah,
Very
you're telling me.
interesting draft. Some picks going deeper into draft than I would have expected them, and very specifically on the paiN side, right? Maokai getting all the way to B4 is really interesting because it was certainly banned much more often than it was picked last week, but they're able to take that at B4 and put that alongside a Gnar. That can be a very potent combo up on the top side. I do want to take the opportunity to bring Rude back in here before we jump onto the
Come on in, Rude.
Get your quick
Thank
reaction
you.
of what we saw on Champions.
Get him in here.
Well, you know what, folks? We have an Aurelia in the game, and a fun fact about Boal's Aurelia specifically, he actually has Pentakill on this champion in his competitive career. He did go by a different name when he had it. Bunkai was the name that he was running with. But there's not too many people that have got Aurelia Pentakills in, I will say, competitive league. You see that one of them is A, piloting Aurelia, and B, doing it in our CBLOL game. It's certainly exciting to me, at the very least. My other takeaway, though, I want to quickly highlight that this is our first Zeri of the day. The fact that that champion made it all the way through the bans is like a crazy nature of the way this draft had developed. So no surprise to see that one taken and picked up first of all.
Yeah,
Love that from
this
Rude.
is a couple times this split that paiN has gotten to first pick a very strong AD carry, and they get the Zeri this time around. I'm ready, Axeman. Oh, let's go. This is going to be so much fun.
Let's get on to the riff. It's a very scary AD carry, this Zeri. Things might get a little hairy. We'll see.
You got to keep that rolling? You got any more in the,
Oh,
in
no.
the back
Nope,
pocket?
that's as much as I got. Running
All
on
right,
fumes now.
I'll give you a few minutes. If you think of any more, please.
Yeah,
jump
get back
in.
to me.
You
Get back
got
to
it.
me.
Go crazy. But we are on to the riff for game number 4 today. Important to note, folks, if today is your first time watching the CBLOL, paiN Gaming versus Los Grandes was our split 1 lower bracket final. These two teams went a full 5 games, and paiN Gaming ended up taking the win to advance to the finals and match up against Loud. And of course, that was when Los had Ranger in a different position. Ranger was playing in the jungle, now in the support role, trying to get a little bit of early revenge here and keep this run going for Los Grandes. The paiN fans and Los, very loud in the building. You love to hear it down there in Sao Paulo. But here we go, the start between paiN Gaming and Los Grandes.
Yeah, it's a party there at Sao Paulo. And critical to note, Los Grandes last time these two teams met did not have legendary jungler Trick, who is on Sejuani here making the play. So them on the tank in the jungle role. See how much that affects this matchup. You have to imagine it's going to affect it quite a bit. Trick is pretty good on Sejuani, we'll go ahead and say. He hits those ultimates where a lot of CBLOL junglers last split were not hitting so many ultimates. And that makes all the difference. Looking forward to Bowls at Aurelia as well. This is a big pickup for him. Just like Rude said, pentakill on that champion. So some big multi-kill potential up in the top side as well for Lost.
I'm very curious, and I'd like your input on this, Axeman.
Oh my.
The last time that we saw Trick on this Sejuani was up against Liberty on Sunday last week. And that was a very slow game. We got to the 18-minute mark with only 1 kill on the map. And then, of course, we got to see Natuno get a quadra kill with a huge Infertib crit ultimate on the Moonlight Vigil that just blew the game open. So it was a very slow early game. Do you see it panning out in a similar way with Trick back on that Sejuani again?
I think anticipating a slow game is a pretty easy call in CBLOL these days. I think, especially if it's an even matchup, you can expect a longer game. That seems pretty consistent across most of the league. And yeah, I could say that this will be a longer one, lower kills for sure. They do have the Lucian Nami, which is a little bit more early game focused, but there's still plenty of room to work in that late game position as well with the Lucian ultimate, and now with this Aurelia damage coming through in the mid game there too. I think what I'm really looking at from any team in the CBLOL right now is just ability to close out games, right? To force those early advantages into mid game power and try to destroy the enemy's nexus. And that's what I'm looking for from Lost in this game, is to be able to take the advantages they get in the laning phase and convert them into success.
Yeah, and I will say it is important to note that there are notable teams that have struggled to close games at different points through this first week and a half, right? paiN, one of them against Loud in week 1. Red Cannons have struggled with that as well. Los haven't really. They had the fastest game so far this split at just under 26 minutes against Liberty last week. And while we do mention that it was a slow start, once that game accelerated, it very quickly arrived at its conclusion. So Los, a team that has shown so far, if they can get that lead, they have the tools to get to the finish line. And of course, you've got great shot calling from Ranger in support and Trick in the jungle.
You certainly do here. A little play down bot side. Gonna be difficult to catch B-Boy out. That Yuumi on him keeps him super safe. Oh, bubble connects with the Yuumi.
Yeah, really nice bubble there from Ranger onto Pro Delta. Not a ton of threat, though. Low mana on both Natuno and Ranger here. They don't seem too concerned with pushing forward aggressively. Trick is going to get down here, though. Seen good ward placement there in the bot side river by this paiN bot lane duo, so they don't get caught by that early Sejuani gank.
All good points, yeah, so Karaoke gonna stumble through the bot lane here, walk over some vision. Not too big on the Maokai, I'll go ahead and say. I don't really love the Maokai pick so much. I don't think it's super competitively viable. The ultimate, of course, is an undeniable tool, but I don't really think it does enough in the early game to be worth picking. I really like the Wukong, the Vi, champions that were banned away this game. Almost think the J4 might have been better here.
Go for the Narvin combo, the classic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't bother me in the slightest, my friend. Fairly slow start here. Nothing to write home about through the first 5.5 minutes here. The question is, does Trick want to go for this early dive top, try and get Wiser behind, who has been a rock? I know you were really impressed with his first weekend here in the CBLOL. Gragas up against Loud, his Malphite even in the loss against Furia. What are your thoughts on Wiser so far this split?
Certainly, and I think they've been really mechanical performances as well from Wiser. Really nice playmaking capability there. Big ultimates from the Malphite game. And of course, playmaking in other areas there too. The Gragas you mentioned. It's looked really good from him, and I've liked the laning as well. Nice solo kills on some of the league's best top laners, which is cool to see. And yeah, just really nice all-around play from him.
Definitely going to be a test this game into Bulls Aurelia. Meanwhile, mid lane, Lava looking for that Tibbers onto Denkato. Is it going to secure anything with Trick waiting in the wings? So ultimate expended. Denkato to back away and absorb this wave into the tower. Meanwhile, early roam from Ranger coming back up Trick. This might be an Ocean Drake angle. Los Grandes maybe looking for that, but it looks like actually a reset from Natuno, so I don't know that they're going to be able to go for this because that wave's going to crash bottom lane, and now Denkato going to be able to even things out in mid.
Okay, so Trick's trying to accomplish something over the last several minutes, and that's put this Maokai behind in levels, and he's doing this really effectively. He's doing it so that he's making sure that Sejuani hits 6 before the Maokai does, so that they can make big plays and objectives with that Sejuani ultimate before the Maokai ultimate is available. He's done it really well. You see him counter jungling a little bit, trying to put the Maokai on the back foot, and that's really excellent jungling from Trick. I'm expecting big objective plays from him soon, and here's that level 6 play.
Yeah, and a good job from Karaoke being in the right spot at the right time as Trick comes over the wall. That's going to be the Nature's Grasp, and as B-Boy backs away, Los not going to get anything out of this. Solid damage enough to finish off the paiN Gaming bot laner. Trick staying around to ensure that Karaoke doesn't try to go in for any sort of engage. Does go in for the Arctic Assault. The beautiful bubble there onto the Maokai forces the heal to come through there from Pro Delta. And paiN Gaming avoid giving over any kills, but they're a little worse for wear after that scrap in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I'd say well done, but he haven't really accomplished too much. He didn't force B-Boy out of lane. You just kind of shut the Maokai back out. Karaoke is fine taking the reset there. There's no objective taken from Lost, just some resources used, and unfortunately they didn't get that level 6 on the Sejuani before the Maokai was able to get the Nature's Grasp down.
Now the question is for Los Grandes to get that quicker reset than Karaoke for Trick, immediately heading out to the top side can pick up red buff. And if you can get the push here in your solo lanes from Bull and Lava, maybe there's a play opening up here for this first Rift Herald to maybe open some things up in the bottom lane. B-Boy, meanwhile, looks like they're maybe going for a lane swap. Walks into mid with Pro Delta in tow. Maybe looking to give Denkato a bit of a better reset here in mid. They're just going to crash this wave for the time being. Looks like they want to set up for the Rift Herald. This Karaoke is on it.
Looks like they'll trade back and forth these objectives across the map. As you see Lost at the bottom of your screen, yeah, going for the dragon here. B-Boy maybe checking this one up a little bit. Could be shutting down this play, but of course they don't have smite, so they'll have limited capabilities. Yeah, just let them take that dragon real quick, and those objectives will be split across the rift between these two teams. Karaoke using the Rift Herald to get some turret plates down. But as we've seen so far in the league, Yeso, it's all about the dragons, man. You gotta get the dragon control, establish control around the bottom side of the map. And that is what Lost are doing well on their way to winning this game.
It's really funny. I don't have hard stats on this, but it feels like 2/3 of the game so far, we're seeing teams stack Drakes with none in response. So often we're seeing teams get to Soul without a single Drake on the other team. And it's early to call that here for Los, but hey, there's the charge from the Rift Herald into that mid lane tower, securing a couple of plates there for Denkato.
That was a long one too. Crowd had some fun with that one. Always a fun time with the Rift Heralds right down the mid lane for Denkato as well. A little gank from Trick here. He's got the ult back up. See what he can do.
Good job from the paiN bottom lane, continuing to maintain vision in that bottom river. Every time Trick comes down here, they've spotted it out as soon as he arrives in the area. Meanwhile, up to the top side, that's the Gnar ultimate from Weiser to get the stun onto Bull. He is going to get another stun there, but Bull can stick to him for a little while. Weiser trying to run, isn't going to get stunned there by Bull. Weiser gets out of trouble.
Certainly can't there. Weiser going to walk away relatively unscathed, we'll go ahead and say. Meanwhile, mid lane, Karaoke is looking for it. The ult comes out, flash over the wall. Surely not.
I mean, they are going to get the charm and a good amount of damage there onto Lava, but Trick and Ranger have arrived. Beautiful bubble is going to catch the Maokai, and I don't think Karaoke is going to get out of this. That is first blood to Lava. Meanwhile, Bull looking for second flashes in. Weiser just gets out and able to transform to get that health right when he needs it. Summoner spells traded in top lane. No kills, however, in that part of the map.
Well, it was a hopeful play mid lane, wasn't it? And some tight marches up top side there as well. Weiser just narrowly escaping with his life. The transformation saving him. And yeah, things starting to get tight across the rift. Just one kill so far, so not too violent, nothing too bloody. Still rated G, I would say. But we'll fight down bot side. They'll be just fine. Crashing the wave in there. Things starting to break out a little bit. That gold does go over to Lava with the kill. To be able to turn that into a little bit more power there in the mid lane. I think he's still not immune to the charms that Ari brings to the table, but we'll have to see as the game progresses. Both teams content to just continue scaling up for the time being.
Not gonna lie, actually, there was a lot of hopium in that Karaoke flash over the wall, setting up the Nature's Grasp.
Speaking of hopium,
the tidal wave's gonna come through. Natuna having to back away. A lot of damage there for B-Boy. Dashing
wow!
And B-Boy is down huge from Natuna to take down the paiN bot laner. And Pro Delta has got nowhere to hide. Double kill for Natuna.
Beautiful play from Natuna there, fully realizing the limits of the champion. And Lucian gonna be able to win the date on that one. Picks up the double kill. Lots of gold sacked into the bot lane now. Ranger crashes the wave, and that's not good for B-Boy.
Top lane looks like Kiddo maybe wants to get up here for the dive. The Gnar ultimate, they're just going to chain the CC, but maybe the trade. No, Weiser will survive. Bull goes down to paiN finally on the board.
Yeah, paiN Gaming on the board. They are still down a little bit of gold. We'll see how much this plating will make up that deficit. Doing a lot of work so far getting the plates down, but the solo kills just have not been there so far. The gank's been a little bit iffy for paiN. Lost have done really well to control. Summoners with Weiser going to teleport back in onto a minion, maximizing that plate damage. They're going to get 4 plates off of this, but here's the teleport, Yeso.
And Bull's completely fine teleporting back in because Bull knows that they don't have the resources available to go for this dive again. If they try to dive Bull, Bull easily trades back a kill, if not two. So Bull able to get up there, pick up some CS, and keep that tower.
Oh, what's Ranger doing?
Ranger caught way too deep, and that's Karaoke with the kill, but now Trick and Lava have arrived, and this tree about to get chopped down. The axe will fall from Trick in the end, or are they going to give it to Lava? Yes, they will. That is another kill for the Los mid laner there, and I mean, you asked it. What is Ranger doing that deep all by his lonesome?
Yeah, that is a fish out of water, I would say. But this does answer one of our questions. Is Lava capable of carrying? Is he the secondary carry on the roster, or just a tertiary carry? Here's the pop-off for you coming through one more time. Look at this replay. This is so cool because Neptuno's really on the ropes here. You look at most of this fight, you're thinking, I don't know if the Lucian can convert on this. Little flash away. Gale Force back in for the damage, and he shuts down B-Boy, slams the door shut on this bot lane, cleans up with a double kill. Excellent play, Neptuno.
Yeah, honestly, really well played. Able to flash out of trouble, get to that dash cooldown back up, and is able to dash in and get the double tap, followed by the Q, the piercing light to finish things off. Well played there from Neptuno, and that is, you know, hey, you talked about it at the top of the game. This Lucian Nami lane can be very potent in the early game, and they were kind of lying in wait for a little while, but now with those 2 kills on the board, you have that Gale Force picked up. Neptuno's going to be playing very confident, very aggressive on this pick.
That old turret goes down. Weiser, the first victim of the Gnar, takes down that turret, and they're going to try and get this second Rift Herald down as well. Yeah, so way to go down. Karaoke takes it down real quick. They convert this into more structures, hopefully more gold for them as well. Down just 500 gold. Trick's going to try and smell this one out. It's a little too late from him.
Important to note, Neptuno with about a 3,000 gold lead over B-Boy. So this Lucian, very, very strong right now. Teleport into the mid lane there from Denkato, and that'll be the pulling coming out from Neptuno.
Yeah, it's a good timer.
Just fine.
That's a good timer for him. There's no big objectives coming out, nothing really to fight over, and it'll come up again in time for him to use it in the mid lane on B-Boy as well. So nice little culling coming out from there. Let that damage down where it belongs. B-Boy's going to try to walk out. You got to get as much farm out of this mid lane as you can if you're B-Boy. It's a difficult job, but you got to do it. Might get dove here if he's not careful. Lava walk out. He's got the combo.
That's going to be the Tibbers down, immediately forcing the cleanse out of B-Boy, and the ultimate from Pro Delta versus Los Grandes to back away for the time being. Important to note, 2 Drakes for Los Grandes. Both Rift Heralds have been picked up by the side of paiN Gaming. Karaoke going to drop that in mid lane here. So this has been a common trade from a lot of teams so far. Happy to trade 2 Drakes for 2 Heralds. And for paiN Gaming, it turns into a mid lane tier 1, and they're going to get the charge.
Go for 2!
Once again, but it's going to be the engage here, but it's all going wrong. Trick is down all on his own, and it's going to be possibly 2 towers. paiN needs to get this wave up, but they could possibly take tier 2 mid. Meanwhile, Bull splitting on the bottom lane.
Teleport coming through here. See if they can mount the defense. The tower's pretty low. And they will. They'll successfully defend the turret for the time being. But that turret has seen better days, so I think I've built better turrets in my yard than that one. It looks a little shaky. Not sure it's up to code.
I hear what you're saying, my friend. But, I mean, look, at this point, paiN is probably just going to plant B-Boy in this mid lane to continue to absorb waves. And it really just feels like, you know, a stiff wind is going to be enough to knock that down. So, very, very short timer left on that mid lane tier 2. We'll have to see what paiN can do with that. That is going to help them a lot if they do want to contest this next Drake in 2 minutes. So walk me through, Axeman, what you want to see from both of these teams as we wait for some very important neutral objectives to spawn.
Step 1, you got to farm up your AD carry in the mid lane. It's going to really help Lost. They can get this turret down. They'll get it down for free here. That's the biggest thing you could do for your Lucian so far, and your Lucian is the reason you're winning the game. After that, you want Lava waiting in the wings, kind of in a transitional position between a side lane and a mid lane, waiting to try and gank and make a 3v2, force the issue in the mid lane. A little bit easier said than done there as well. Second, of course, step, Bull in the side lane. You want him scaling up as much as possible and constantly threatening. Speaking of side lane.
Oh. Looks like they
tough.
want to punish Bull all by his lonesome. That's the teleport in from Weiser. And Bull's going to go down. Charm's going to land. It isn't going to even be necessary. Carrying. Okay, going to pick up that one. The Los Grandes top laner caught his pants down up in that top lane. And they're going to be able to crash some waves up there. So paiN with the ability to apply some pressure on the opposite side of the map. Important to note, Bull with TP available for this Drake.
And it's a nice play from paiN, right? We were talking about the steps that Lost had to go through to shut this game out. paiN responded excellently. They rotate up into the side lane, take down Bull. This gives them a massive advantage in the mid lane that if Trick's waiting in that transitional position in the jungle, he can't pull that trigger if he doesn't have tracking on the majority of paiN.
He's going to pull the trigger, though, right now. They want to punish Weiser for pushing for this top lane tier 2. Even Bull has arrived, says, oh, you want to bring your friends to take me down? Well, ditto, my friend. Ranger is going to pick up that kill. Weiser has fallen, and that means no top laner available for paiN Gaming as these big neutral objectives come up. Baron is live. Drake as well, and Los Grandes, they want the Baron right now.
Excellent job from B-Boy, recognizing he had the time to push out through the mid lane and get that tier 2 turret. It goes down easily for him. Now it's onto the Baron. The fight is here. Nature's Grasp.
Oh, Locke gonna get caught in that. Ranger taking a lot of damage early. Beautiful ultimate there for B-Boy, but has to back away and stay alive. Trying to get on the back line is Bull, but he's gonna get taken out. B-Boy with a huge kill. Natuno's still alive and has to step away from that damage from B-Boy, but that is going to be another pot.
Oh, beauty.
Goes down, and Natuno, Ranger, and Trick all in full retreat. Trick's back is gonna get dropped. Takeda is here. This is possibly more kills. That's gonna be the Q missing, but Takeda could go down. Natuno picking up a killing spree now as the mid laner for paiN falls. And now does Los go for the contest? Baron has been started here by Karaoke and paiN, but Los has the information. They can try and make a play. Bull up in 8 seconds, no teleport available. Do they go into the pit?
Trick's here.
The damage from B-Boy. Trick has arrived. Ultimate available. Does he go over the wall? He's looking for it. 1,700 health. paiN trying to stall, but that's low health on Karaoke. Dashing in. But that's the spike clean from Karaoke. Trick is going to fall, and what more can they get? Ranger goes down.
No,
quickly follows a shutdown for B-Boy, and paiN come up big.
It was a good effort from Trick over the wall trying to get the Baron down. Unfortunately, Natsuno and Ranger seem to be on different positions, on different pages here. We didn't really see the synergy come through from them. It looked like they entered the fight at different points. Check the replay. Malkael comes through, locks everybody up, and it's difficult for Lost. It's so difficult. Down goes Bull, 4v3 now, 4v4, excuse me. And yeah, Trick's just too low to be able to fight. They play for retake instead. This Lava caught out on the side there, but this re-engage was so cursed. I mean, Ranger hits this crazy blast cone thing. Natsuno's over the wall super late, just kind of dies, doesn't do anything. They're able to kill Dunkato, but that's about it. paiN Gaming will get this dragon, this first dragon for themselves, and break up the dragon control from Lost.
And this is a decisive turn from paiN. Not only do they win the fight, they're able to pick up the Baron. They also stop the Drake stacking from Los Grandes. So huge swing in this game from paiN. They're now up 5,000 gold and looking to build on that lead, right? Lava is going to be able to pick up some gold top lane, knocking down that tier 1, but paiN's knocking on the door in the bottom lane, and they may have their eyes set on that inhibitor very soon.
Yeah, so B-Boy is huge here. 2.5 items. A Triforce is massive for him. And yeah, no summoners, but he is just so strong with that Yumi music engage.
Yeah, Karaoke getting in there is going to drop the Nature's Grasp. A lot of Los able to get over the wall to the safety of their base for the time being, and Natuno nearly full health, so Karaoke absorbs a lot of upfront damage, and the follow-up not quite there from the side of paiN.
No, not quite there. They don't have enough in the tank, unfortunately, and that base is ultimate safety for loss. But paiN, they're continuously crashing these waves, these empowered minions. Just keep going in, keep doing that. Structure damage is mid lane. Oh, another fight!
Yeah, Decado in full retreat as Tibbers is on the chase, but Decado going to be able to get out of trouble. The big problem here for Los Grandes, Natuno is your most fed member, but the gap is going to start to widen. B-Boy scaling much better than the Lucian. It's certainly an early game to mid game 80 carry for Natuno here. B-Boy is going to be much stronger the longer this game goes on. So the responsibility is going to start to shift more to Lava and Bull to make some big plays. Look at that gold graph, very tight all throughout. One play absolutely catapults paiN into the lead.
And of course, don't miss game 5. It's Fluxu versus Surya. IU versus Brunsey. Up next, just after this game. You're not going to want to miss that one. That's the biggest matchup of the day, if you ask me. Personally, I'll be watching that one on the edge of my seat. I can't wait for that matchup.
Oh, I am right there with you. Hey,
yeah,
you know,
right?
Axmed, we got that slower burn early game that you were talking about at the top. Very similar to what we saw from Los last weekend against Liberty. Problem is, where Los was able to find that play to catapult them into the lead, this time around their early play towards Baron cost them, and now paiN are up big time. What do we need to see from Los here to get this game back under control?
Just big plays from Netuno. It's the only thing that's going to work. Play maybe breaking out here. Decado's in the wings. He's looking for the charm. Oh, there's Nature's Grasp.
Flank on its way from Weiser, and the Nature's Grasp will catch a few. Weiser here a little late to the fight, and also doesn't have
Mega.
Yeah, he doesn't have Mega charged up, so that's a TP that doesn't do a lot. Los able to back away. They've got the Nature's Grasp out, and Los is fine with that. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay for the time being. You asked what it's going to take from Lost. I'm thinking big plays from Netuno, big mechanical plays, using the Gale Force, using your dash solution, avoiding the damage, and laying down enough damage to get you back in this game. It's going to be a very tight thing. Also, big ultimates from Trick as well, something you could depend on if you're a Lost fan.
Yeah, the hard part is you have to kill B-Boy, and B-Boy with Pro Delta in his back pocket on the Yumi is so hard to kill. You really have to get, you know, it's probably going to require Bull or Lava getting access to that backline alongside Natuno to be able to burst through that health bar and that healing that Pro Delta brings to the table. So keep an eye on B-Boy. Going to be the linchpin of these fights for either team. paiN, meanwhile, sieging in mid and top. This mid lane inhibitor exposed. They're easily going to be able to take this down. Los focused on keeping top side alive for the time being.
Couldn't agree more here. I'm hesitant to talk too much, yeah, so I feel like there's a powder keg sitting there. It's going to blow up on my face any second.
And I'm ready when it goes down. But
I feel like I'm cheating at Hot Potato a little bit here. I feel like
no, please, feel free. We
here, hold on to this for a little bit longer, yeah?
But talk to me, Axe. What are you seeing right now?
What am I seeing right now? B-Boy's trying to soak up as much as he can from the map, trying to hit that fourth item, and take everything off the map before this Baron spawns. They're going to take this Baron down, have a back-to-back play, power play, and really close this game out as hard as they can.
the question is, does Los think they can respond here? Ducato stepping forward to keep Los at bay for as long as possible. They might be able to pick them up. That is going to be a stun. Natuna looking to fall, and that's the Glacial Prison coming through. Cleanse out from Natuna to keep him alive. And B-Boy wants to get in here. Great ultimate there from Pro Delta. Forces Los Grandes to back away, and the Baron doesn't even fully reset. It's at 4,000 health. Meanwhile, Trick is at about 1,000 himself, and he's hoping for a miracle steal here, but I don't know that Karaoke is going to give him the chance. Waiting at that back wall. They're happy to stall for as long as they need. Tibbers over the wall into the pit. Trick going in.
He's got it!
Steal! Trick gets it, and Los might live to fight another day, but a huge engage from Weiser getting into the backline, and down goes Lava. They're going to get another consolation prize here in the form of Bull. It's now just down to Natuno and Ranger to keep this game alive.
Sure is here. It was always going to come down to a big Netsuno play. I don't know if he's physically capable of it anymore, but they at least have a shadow of a chance, so.
I mean, look, you've got super minions in mid, and this is a Lucian Nami that are very susceptible to the four-man team that is coming after them. B-Boy stepping forward, has to flash out of trouble, but it isn't gonna much matter. Dashing back to the safety of the fountain means nothing as paiN Gaming take down the undefeated Los Grandes.
Yeah, really nice play from paiN Gaming. Some might call that an expected result, but I don't know. I feel like Lost were never out of that game, really, and it really did come down to the wire. Netsuno always in that game, never quite removed from it as much as you'd like if you're a paiN fan. Pretty close thing, if you ask me.
And it really all came down to too little too late, right? Great smite steal from Trick at the Baron, but the quick response from the side of paiN Gaming. Weiser getting in to get the ultimate on the backline completely negates anything that they gained in that fight. And as we welcome Rudude back in, paiN Gaming now matching Los at 2-1, and that's now 2 undefeated teams today, Rudude, that have fallen. But right now, it's Red Canids still alive at the top.
Yeah, 3-0, our only team, so we have a clear first place for the first time this split, which is quite nice. And, you know, at the top of the game, we asked, are Los Grandes going to be able to answer some of our questions? Unfortunately, the answer was no. We're going to fly the highlights of the game while we have a little more of a discussion based on our expectations coming in, on quite what had happened through this game specifically as well. And it didn't start off badly for Los either. They certainly had a position to play from in the early stages. You know, this 2 versus 2 down on the bot side, it looked really good for Los Grandes to start off with, don't you think, Axe?
No, I have to agree. I think Netsuno looked like $1 million here. Really solid. I think Ranger, shockingly as well, playing the Lucian Nami duo very, very effectively in lane is something that I think is very encouraging for his continued, support debut here. I think it shows he's a really effective support player and that he can play in this role. There was some shakier plays on the Nami a little bit later in the game that were kind of left your head scratching a little bit. That was very good in that lane.
And I think as well, for Los Grandes, even though this is only 3 games, it's 3 unique champions for Ranger. Nami, definitely a champion with higher skill expression than that of a Yuumi, than that of a Blitzcrank in certain situations. I'm so far happy with the Ranger wall swap. So are we happy with it thus far?
Yeah, I mean, look, as soon as we saw the Nami come through, I'm like, okay, this is a really good chance to take a deep look at Ranger. And I thought he was solid. He probably wants this game back. And, you know, I think the big problem is that Los didn't accelerate that lead that they got in the bot lane big enough and allowed B-Void to scale and become a problem. But I liked what I saw from Ranger in this game.
Yeah, I think that by and large, we can be certainly happy with how at the very least that bot lane ended up playing out. Unfortunately, it was the rest of the map that kind of let down the bot side of the map for Los Grandes, even though we got to see Boal not lock in his patented Irelia, the Irelia OTP from way back when it didn't really have the performance that we would have been hoping for. 0-4-1, the ending score for Boal to begin with, or to end out this game. As we round out the highlights for the game specifically, we get to dive into a specific replay that I picked for us all a little bit earlier on into the game, but honestly later than most of our first replays because this game got off a little bit slowly to the races. We got a couple of Rift Herald charges, and I think that this, for again those at home that aren't familiar, the CBLOL special of enjoying Rift Heralds. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and this is just unfortunately Trick getting caught in a rough spot. Trick kind of wants to ensure that paiN can't push through and get a ton of value out of that Rift Herald and take 2 towers, but gets caught by a charm. And the problem is, as soon as that first CC lands with this lineup, Karaoke's immediately going to twisted advance on you and really cause some problems. And it unfortunately results in a play that really started to shift the game into paiN's favor.
That it did. And now for the second replay, it was that first Baron that we're going to go to, but not the Baron secure itself, sort of the preamble, the pre-Baron Baron take. Axe, if you want to walk us through how Lost got off this position.
Yeah, I love this play, right? First of all, Lava is just kind of out on his lonesome looking for this flank. He drops his combo, and, that's all well and good, but towards the backside of this fight, Lava finds himself on the opposite side of the fight from where he should be, gets picked down. Almost not to be outdone, Dunkado decides, hey, what if I got on the opposite side of the fight too? And now he's back there, and it's Lost that decides, hey, whoa, enemy mid laner, we can kill that guy. Let's go ahead and do it.
And they did exactly that. Now we're going to get to take a quick look at the stats for this game. Yeso, we'll come to you first of all for these match statistics. Take a gander, take a quick look. That goal difference had a little bit of a swing, but what else are we looking at for this game that was the telling factor?
It really should be no surprise the damage output that we're getting from the bot lane. Surprised to see the Gnar really, really good showing there from Weiser. I feel like Weiser has been the highlight of this paiN team through 3 games and showed up and handled that Aurelia matchup that I know isn't wonderful for the Gnar very well, and some good playmaking. One little late game TP that I kind of wish he maybe had mega prep for. Could have been a fight that didn't require a 50-50 smite at Baron afterwards to win the game, but Weiser was really good and leads the team in damage, which is surprising.
Yeah, for me, I think the quick point that I'd pull from this is the difference between our junglers, at the very least, damage, because these are 2 frontline champions, right? But it's very clear that we got to see just a significant amount more damage coming through from the Maokai, rather. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that ends up, having a big ramification on. But we are going to have our MVPs graphic once again. Now, so you have one word.
Karaoke.
Jungler.
No! You're both wrong. It's Weiser in the top lane. After you some phrases as well, so that's maybe where we'd expect to go. Axe, is this worthy?
Yeah, go ahead and take it. No, it should be the jungler. It should be the jungler always. I just, you get all the objectives, you do all the work, and you get no credit for it. No, Weiser had a great game. Lots of great plays he made, and the KDA is undeniable there as well. And if you could be one thing, Rude, you should be undeniable.
That's true. And honestly, it's good to not have junglers again. So?
Yeah, I was just looking for the trend, right? We had 3 straight jungler MVPs, and rightfully so, to start the day. And I think you could certainly make an argument for Karaoke, and I would. But Weiser, a lot of great ultimates. And again, I think a lot of it comes from absorbing a pretty tough matchup and really just entirely neutralizing Bull in this game. He was really never a threat, and that allowed B-Void to thrive in the late game.
Yeah, there's something to be said for just doing your job so effectively, even if it doesn't look flashy, stylish, whatever you want to call it, right? The fact that Aurelia was never a threat in this game certainly had its ramifications. But everybody, we have got one final game for the day. So say goodbye to Yeso and Axeman. They get a nice rest up to watch this last match. When we come back from the break, though, it is Fluxu versus Furia. So don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back.